do some sampling and do some looking and try to see if you have soybean cyst nematode. And the ball of root that's being passed around there, that's a great way to just kind of look quickly. You can tell right away if you have it, and certainly if you find that, then you would probably want to take a soil sample or several soil samples and confirm it, and also get a better idea what there are for numbers, because that can maybe dictate and say, well, boy, I guess I'm not really losing a lot of yield if you have low numbers. Maybe you can just continue planting the varieties you have been, and maybe monitor that by taking samples each year or something, and try to get an idea, you know, when do you really need to get serious about the resistant varieties or other methods of monitoring that. But if you're going to dig up plants and visually look yourself for soybean cyst nematode, one thing you definitely do not want to do is just go out and pull up plants. That is not going to work very well at all. What you're going to end up with is main roots. And as you can see, if you looked at that root ball that got passed around, those female adults are clinging to the very, very fine lateral roots. And if you pull up plants, you're going to strip those off, and you probably won't find any, and then be thinking, oh, I don't have it. So what you really need to do is get a shovel. Dig maybe more than one spot if you're dealing with a tiling spade. We've got some round nose shovels there that'll take a little bit bigger area, but get down and really loosen that soil up and the root ball up, and pull it up with the shovel, and then carefully peel the soil away. There might even be enough come off as you pull it out that you can find some. But that method is really just intended to confirm if you have them or not. It's really not intended to try to identify how many you have. And I watched a few videos to kind of get some notes to talk about tonight, and that can be pretty misleading. You might have just a few female adults that you see on the roots, and there might be a lot more cysts present in your fields than what you see there. So the way to really get a good handle on that, of course, is to take soil samples. And we recommend, probably the best way to do that would be a soil probe. They cost a little more than a shovel, but it'll last a long time if you treat it well. And something farmers can buy, can use them for testing soil for fertilizer recommendations, and so this would be a good investment if you don't already have one. What you do is take the soil probe, probably start away from the row a little ways, and then probably probe down into the root zone, because remember, that's where the cysts are attracted to, that's where they're going to be living, and that's probably where you'll find the most of them. You can go out after harvest and still probably find that row, probe into that root zone, and that's a good way to do it. If you're going to sample another field that's planted to another crop or just recently been harvested, you could sample anywhere in the field and maybe get an idea how many, if you have soybean cyst nematodes, and how many if you're looking to plant that field to soybeans that following year. But that incidentally, if you're going to use the visual test with the shovel, I believe it's about 5 weeks after the soybeans are emerged before those cysts are actually attracted or clinging to those roots. So really any time from then until probably harvest, or the plants are at least mature, you may be able to find the adult females clinging to those roots. So there's quite a window of time opportunity there. As far as taking soil samples, you can take them virtually any time of the year. Probably do it before it's frozen. Probably try to avoid if it's really wet, but just they recommend probably 15 to 20 cores in about a 20-acre area. So split your fields up into approximately 20-acre blocks and sample and take those cores. A bucket is a very handy thing to do because you're going to want to mix those up really well and then try to get a representative sample of that.